Alright, that was the wrong disclosure image. I'm gonna have to fix that. Give me 1 sec, I'll be right back. Hello? How's it going? Alright, so started the stream a little late, but it's okay. What I'm currently watching is I want this new week opening gap wanted to be filled. Now that it's filled, I was looking at the current price actually poor price action, and so I want to tape read it. As you can see, the Asia session was very, very excited, and we expanded quite a little bit. So if you look at the morning session, let me just place this. Hold on. There. If you look at the morning session, right after the London and the Asia session, you see we just have a little bit of consolidation, and so therefore I am noting liquidity at these lows here. I see that we've went up to fill that new week opening gap. We've hit the previous day high, so I wouldn't be interested in anything higher. But if we want to retrace lower, maybe target these lows here or this low there. Now that could be possible. And so I want to watch for that delivery. There's nothing I'm trying to take a trade on, just because, well, it's against my rules. But when we have a range like this for Asia session, and London also trended, so if London had consolidated, I'd be more willing. But maybe if I see something very, very high probability, I can maybe paper trade it. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, his new one is yesterday's lecture is amazing. I sent some notes in Discord, and in Dom's Discord. It's just a document, and none of the notes are about anything about charts. It's all like mentality. It's really, really nice. A lot of the things that I was doing wrong. Actually, it's might be good to talk about that this morning, because some of the things even apply to what I'm doing here, especially when he's talking about towards the end. He's talking about being humble and being content with what you're doing and not looking for outwards acceptance. The gladiator scenario, where you want to be lifted up on a pedestal, making money isn't enough, and it's a character flaw usually in men. And this is where I'm taking a trade for the sake of being able to say that I did it. This is why, precisely, if you read these notes, this is why I don't take trades when I stream. And this is also why I try not to predict things on video, like my weekly analysis. I don't want to build expectations, and that's why when I'm wrong, I'm also transparent. I say that, or I don't know where price is going, I say that, and it's so that I focus on just trading and when I make videos, it's just about journaling. But one of the parts that I like the most is, this part. If it's not obvious, don't risk any money. Uh, Operate on a basis where you know why it's going to a single direction. This is in my own words what he said. And it won't go in the other. If it's ever not obvious to you where it will draw to, sit on your hands. And then I did a little joke here because at the time he was also making a joke to see if you were paying attention. But this is like a lot of people will tell me that trading is basically gambling because you don't ever really know where it's going. And I disagree. Like when I am taking a trade, when I press that button, buy or sell, I 100% know where it's gonna go. 100% I know where it's gonna go. And then people will say, well, why doesn't it always go to your take profit? Because I'm human, and sometimes I just get it wrong, right? And it's simple. It doesn't mean though that I can't have confidence in where price is gonna go at what time. And yeah, and then this part here, do not feel obligated to always be able to predict what will happen. Don't be ashamed to say I don't know what will happen. That part is what I'm trying to like say here is, on my YouTube, I do that often. I say I don't know what will happen, right? Because I know that if I try and focus on creating content and making the viewers watch me for the reason of knowing what price will do, I know that that's going to disrupt my trading. So this is simply just like a channel is just for journaling, how I'm doing, things like that. And then another great part was when he was talking about in the beginning stages, well, especially in the beginning stages, but making trading routine. And this is something I'll struggle with actually. I don't know how it will work, but I might have to take a. Well, I'm right now. Let's say I wanted to entertain shorts and I wanted to try and run it down to the sell side liquidity. Okay, I don't. There's no like breaker that I'm seeing that I like. I'm seeing a support from bullish PD arrays. There isn't a bearish breaker. Like if you take this high down to that low and then the higher high swing here, this breaker, if you're trying to use this as your shorting idea, the sell side liquidity, the draw I'm looking for is at the low of the breaker, and so this wouldn't really be good. And so I'd like to see if price is willing to create another one up here, which might take. Doesn't really look like it wants to do so. So it's not. It's just kind of going up. The breaker is way down here. It's displaced very far above it, past the previous day high, and so I expect sort of things to slow down and maybe turn. But again, there's nothing. I'm not shorting that yet because there's nothing that tells me that will happen just yet. Oh, this pisses me off. And so right now it's just kind of like a wait and see type of thing. Did you catch the part where SC said you should use inverse or value gaps more than breakers if there is an obvious one? No, I didn't pay attention much to trading stuff, especially in the beginning, because I was on my own charts too. No, sorry, not on my own. I had an interview, so there's a large chunk of the stream where I was in an interview, and I didn't get to see it, but I will watch it over the weekend, or you just let me know what timestamp. I can go look at it right now. Yeah, I will and probably end up watching it 3 times, to be honest, but I don't have time to watch it 3 times. So well, as of I didn't get the time yet to watch it that much. But as far as like the price action stuff, the price action stuff goes, I don't really, what he says about price action, I don't care at all. Like I only watch ICT because he says gems when it comes to mentality. He's a guy that has lots of experience. He's 50 years old. He has not only trading experience but also life experience, and I love learning more about life from especially people who are experienced. So that's more why I watch ICT. I have this wick here. This is the consequent encroachment on the 1 hour chart of this wick down here. So I'm looking for, this new week opening gap. All I really want is for it to get filled. It's gotten filled so far, so if we can find some resistance, I'd be looking at, it could be that wick there. The thing is, in here there isn't any obvious fair value gaps or anything like a breaker. It's really just kind of like a bunch of wicks. There's no real reason for price to run up into this area, really. So if all it wants to do is fill new week opening gap and turn, that would be good. But yeah, there's no real reason for price to run up into here unless it wants to run to a fair value gap above it, like this one or the premium wick there. Right, so those are like the two areas that I'm watching. Couldn't find it right now. Video's 2.5 hours long. I'll tell you later. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, let me know later and I will check it out. Seeing a little bit of movement lower. That's good. Are you able to, let me know if you're able to hear the music? Yeah, probably not. You got that 5-minute short-term high right now. Now, technically, the pattern in my model is here. You have a 15-minute high or previous day high. So higher time frame level is grabbed. You got a short-term high which had an initial attempt lower. So on the 1 minute, this could maybe look a little bit more like a breaker. But as you can see, it's still very jagged and not too clean. So I'm not looking for anything just yet. If we run back down, we can still have this 5-minute PD array support price. So I would rather wait until we get an inverse fair value gap in this scenario, and then really show that we want to displace lower and attack these lows. But then again, this is lower quality price action. It is poor price action because we're going to be more of in a discount compared to the draw that we were looking for. If for a deeper draw, obviously that can change. So we also filled that regular trading hours too from the opening on Monday. We actually came just about to it. And we have this big regular trading hours here, which we could go down to fill. I'm not confident that immediately right now is when we're going to start going lower though. Nice, you can hear it. Classic ICT only, he can talk so much, but I like it. Yeah. Sometimes I doubt if the 2024 mentorship is really for Killed, or it's just because he wants to. I remember Vinny and Iman trading. Everyone saying that ICT was a scam and stuff, and trying to prove why he's a scammer or a fraud and he can't trade. I remember they were all saying that every year he does this and he's gonna come back this year and he's gonna do a 2024 mentorship, and then eventually he's gonna start charging people. He's gonna sell his book. They're saying, and now some of it's happening. He started a 2024 mentorship. He's adding fuel to the flames and creating a bunch of drama. I think he could pull top. Actually, I don't know if he could. I honestly don't know. And honestly, I don't really. If I think I would like to say yes, but I don't think ICT should participate. He listening to his commentary and what he's about trading, I think it would be a bad teacher if he participated. Especially because now he's teaching in 2024. It kind of goes against a lot what he preached, and I don't, but he's not making from 2024, not making money. No, I know, but I remember he said that when he was going to be doing Robins, he would just be doing it in isolation. He wouldn't be teaching, that they would see at the end of the year. He would release the statements at the end of the year, and they would just see him on the leaderboard. He wouldn't be on Twitter or anything. And now he's teaching and stuff for his son. And so again, he said it many times that he does not teach and trade real money at the same time. Especially since he's live streaming, I don't think that he would be trading. If I was focused on being a mentor, I 100% would not be trading real money, because I don't need to add to the stress of being a mentor by risking money. I mean, he said it somewhere in his in the notes yesterday about adding stress to your trading. Let me find it. Yeah. Pride. He quoted the Bible when he says pride goes before the fall. He said, you don't want to be so high and lofty about yourself and your thoughts. Even if you're doing this for 30 years, you must keep yourself protected from being emotionally stimulated with your own ability. It must be boring like a business. Then he says, yeah, he says here, it's important to be humble, be content with what you did and how you did it. Don't concern yourself with others' performance, and don't try to measure yourself up. When you live like this, you don't owe anything to anybody. There is no drama. You know, like, just by his recent stream, it's like if he went out and won the Robins, he would be going against a lot of what he's preaching, because he's telling us to remain content, don't measure ourselves up, let our trading be very private, you know, with what trades we take and stuff. If he goes out and wins the Robin, I mean, we'll take the Leap, because I had experience in the Leap, and you know, my Leap account, actually, maybe on stream I might trade my Leap account and show an example of I guess what ICT's trying to say. But my Leap account, I stopped trading it. The last trade I took on my Leap was I took some losses, and then I made it back. And actually, I think these are all commissions. Yeah, these are all commissions. Because I had took the same trade on 3 different indexes. But you know, I made it all back. And no, what do you mean made it all back? No, so I made it all the way up to 53,841, and I'm probably still top 2,000, right? Actually, you know, let's check. Let's check where I am in the league. But I stopped trading. I didn't trade it yesterday, and I don't want to trade it today. I didn't wake up looking to trade it today, or in Asia session or anything, because you know it's making me take trades at times where I wouldn't normally trade. Like you saw me trade in Asia, and I posted on the Discord, and and I was sharing where I was in the leap. You know, that's not what I should have been doing. What? No, I'm not trying to join. I want to see the leaderboard. It doesn't say where I am. Well, I don't know. But you see, like, when I'm trading the leap, I feel like I need to keep up, right? And that makes me want to trade more than I usually would be comfortable with, and take trades that I wouldn't be comfortable with. And they win, but it also derails me from my actual trading, what I'm trying to do. And then also at the same time, usually I never share my trades. Most of the time I never share my trades unless they're like, you know, really like clear and it's like obvious, and I annotate it and do all these little clean things to kind of give inspiration. But other than that, like, I don't like to share my trades and talk about my success or talk about how bad of a day it was. I keep that for my journal, right? And the leap has kind of gotten me trading Asia and has gotten me sharing these things and look at my place on the leaderboard and all that stuff. It's not professional. I personally really feel that pride when incorrect like today sometimes, and love to shit on others, but that's really the sinful nature. Like Angelo, yeah, it is the sinful nature. I constantly feel like I have to show everyone, you know, that I can do it, but that's something, well, not anymore, but that's something that, of course, I still feel like sometimes, but that's something I have to battle, right? Because if I, and this is why ICT, if he goes into Robbins and he shows everyone he can do it, you know, how many problems do you think he'll have with pride then? You know, like, I think he would rather just remain humble as a teacher, and then maybe he could keep teaching. Because if he goes out and wins the Robin, he kind of goes against a lot of what he teaches about pride. Well, I'm gonna go short. Need to log out. So like when I trade the leap, I just do like a bias. If my bias is short, if I know the draw is lower, I just go short. And I don't care about what it does. But that's like not my trading model at all. Right, and it kind of takes me away from my trading a little bit. So that's why I usually don't do the leap. I haven't done the leap since the first tournament. This is like my first time since that first tournament. I've kind of gotten that high there at 10:01 to kind of fail to make a new high. And so I want to see. I don't like how far it's drawing up though. A little bit too excited. Like nothing is clear right now that we're immediately going to go lower. Still have 15-minute bullish fair value gap supporting price. So I think it's hard to explain this, but think about ICT, like the types of people that he always says that will learn from him. You know, he says that he thinks that 30% of people that will learn from him will actually be successful, if not less. And he says that it's really hard to do, and that even him, you know, it's not any different than anybody else. You have to put in the work yourself. And then I think that a lot of people, it's easy to shit on ICT. And I think ICT also likes to keep it that way. He likes it when it's easy to shit on him. When it's so easy to say he just doesn't trade real money. He likes it because, and I like it because it, you know, even though that's the case and everybody's against him, it helps to keep that pride in check when you're humble. When you say, you know what, I know these people are wrong and they're fools, but I'm not going to care. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. And they'll be none the wiser, right? And that's just so powerful because it brings a lot of contempt. Because you know that the thing is, ICT has also always said that he wants to bring God into his trading, and that this is why he's created a YouTube channel, right? Just about God, Berean Steady. He's posted 4 videos so far, and he just talks about God in the Bible. And you know, this is his promise that he made to God that he would bring him into his trading. So I think what he really wants to show is not his concepts that will change lives, but that God will change lives. And therefore there would be no reason to go out and prove that he can make all this money and he can be number one on Robbins. I think he would want to show that humbleness and the contempt. And I also believe that all sin really just comes down from that want to be better, you know, the want to have a better life, a better standard of living, a bigger house, a better car, you know, a better life, feel better. I mean, everything stems from just wanting a better position. And so if you remove that, you immediately become more humble, and to a lot of people you become more boring. I've had many people that I know that they look at my life and what I do and they say, isn't it boring? Like you know, they say they need to get me out or something. And I don't know, I like it this way. I like it boring and plain. I basically have made my life routine, like ICT said. In the beginning, it's important to make your life a routine in order to run this business. And this business isn't something I can just talk about to everybody and everybody will understand. And so, yeah. in my opinion, it's just about not giving up on it. It's a skill and requires work like every other skill. Well, yeah. No, that's right. It's 100% right. If you don't, if it's not like a routine and you keep doing the same things, like me, I journal every night. Eventually, I'm going to lose, that skill. I'm gonna that edge, I guess, is gonna become blunt, and it's not gonna be sharp. Price is being a little bit just sticky. It's moving sideways. It's not going up or down. Like if I was gonna trade long or short, I would not feel comfortable right now. Not at all. The S&P and the Dow though look a little bit clean. The Dow has relatively equal lows. Same with the S&P. I'd pay attention to this gap. This gap looks pretty clean. If we lose this gap, I think we might see a move a little bit further beneath these lows, maybe into some lower gaps down here, and retrace into that London range. And that same gap's there on the Nasdaq. That's kind of the most sensitive part of this whole range that could support price. No. My friend just sent me a very good question. He asked me about the short-term bond yields. It's the friend I know that he uses NinjaTrader to trade. His name is Johnny Lee Lin on YouTube, but he usually only answers like every couple of days on the weekends because he also works a full-time job, and he's very busy. So like next time he streams over the weekend, I was gonna ask him because I don't know anybody else that could answer that question. Unless you can find it online on YouTube, but I assume you already tried looking for the answer on YouTube or online. And I also don't think that you can actually go back. Because I don't believe on TradeObate you can go back and look at previous contracts. That every time I was using NinjaTrader or TradeObate, and when I would when the contract would switch over to the new one, it would tell me this is a new contract, rollover. And I would have to click rollover, I believe. I didn't have the option to not rollover. But you can, I guess, maybe you can get around it if you look at the contract over contract. I'm not sure, to be honest. Oh wow. I actually am still top 1,000. I'm 871. let's hope the Nikkei absolutely has a heart attack then. The Nikkei went crazy overnight. Actually, the USD JPY was super crazy overnight. I mean, it absolutely just exploded. And this is because there was a news by one of the representatives of the Bank of Japan, I believe, and he was very dovish, which means that they're thinking about cutting the rates, right? And this is significant because, well, if the Bank of Japan raised the rates and it's caused all of this fear that the carry trade would be over, so that, you know, if you're in Japan and you're borrowing money at a -1% interest rate, you're getting paid to borrow money. It's free profit. And then you take that money and you invest it in United States markets. Even if the markets go down, you're still getting paid 1% on your loan. And then, you know, it's it would basically create this opportunity where you can over leverage and basically still make money from that loan. And so yeah, people just over leverage and they go into these super risky sort of investments. Well, not investment, maybe it's not risky investments, but what's risky is the loan that they get into, because if the interest rates go up, all of a sudden they're not making 1% on that loan, and now they have to actually pay that loan. And if they're in the stock market over leveraged, and the stock markets, there's just a little bit of fear, it can create a lot of selling pressure. And this is why you saw the USD JPY go down at the exact same time as the Nasdaq went down, because all of the investors got out of the risk assets, right? And we talked about all of this happening, you know, before it actually happened. We talked about the SMT at these highs, and then the 14th, the yen started to fall, and that's exactly when the Nasdaq also started to follow it. You know, it was clear that investors were rotating their money around and maybe putting it back into the yen, right? But ultimately, I've always said that I think the yen is just going to go to 200, and that they're doing everything in their power to delay it from going to 200. Because if you look at their balance sheet, it's not looking good. It's like 500% of GDP, which is insane. Like the United States is only 33%, and they're so over leveraged, and they're in a lot of risk and a lot of treasuries too. So it's not good, because if they have to sell those bonds, they're selling them at a loss since they bought them when they were lower yields. But the yen is ultimately, if it keeps going up, and if the Bank of Japan actually stays dovish, right, like they said they were. Also, wait, are you talking about the clickbait? Was that there's a Fed, or not a Fed, a Bank of Japan member that was saying that they're dovish and it was clickbait? I'm not sure what you mean by clickbait. But if Japan starts to lower their rates again, and they're not actually going to raise their rates, then that money is just going to flow right back into the carry trade, and it's going to flow right back into the Nasdaq. Right, so I mean, maybe this could be a low, but I think we might still have a bit more downwards price action. There's also, I've never seen this much fear in the markets. Like, everybody's talking about a market crash. That's why I know that we're not going to have a market crash. Exactly, spam. Yeah, negative interest rates. I mean, if you have negative interest rates, you just get loans and you get paid. The loan pays itself. You don't even have to pay your home; it'll pay itself. It would be fun. I think honestly, the Federal Reserve would love to have negative interest rates, except that it's not good right now because there's too much cash. Think about, if you have negative interest rates, what would happen to cash? Banks would have to pay to hold your cash. All right. You know, like when you put your money in a bank account, you get this interest, even if it's 0.1%, 0.2%, you get interest, right? And that's because their interest rates are higher. But if the interest rates are negative, now all of a sudden you have to pay not just bank fees, but also how much cash you have. You're gonna have to pay a percentage of that cash towards interest, right? And so banks would charge you for withdrawing cash, they would charge you for depositing cash, and they would charge you for having cash into your bank account. So businesses would just stop using cash. But they can't do that right now because the world still is using a lot of cash and is dependent on cash. Think of all the old people that don't know how technology works. But we're getting there. I think we're getting there to the point where you could probably get negative interest rates in a couple years, maybe a dozen years. Oh, just had a bit of a move lower. So this could be seen as a market shift, right? I want to see, price want to come down and close. It's finding support off that inverse fair value gap. It's normal, but we'll see how price runs down here and trades within that range. Normally I wouldn't really want it to come back. I'd want it to leave some breakaway gaps, to be honest, and not go back through all of them. Under Trump, honestly, the Federal Reserve, hey Jaser, how you doing? Look, the Federal Reserve has nothing to do with politicians, and politicians have nothing to do with the Federal Reserve. Trump can say he wants to lower the rates and it will not matter. The Fed controls the rates and there's no one that controls the Fed, not even the president. If you don't believe me, Trump plays into their hand very well. Trump, before he was, during his presidency, he was saying that, he wants negative interest rates. He was saying other countries have negative interest rates. Was after? No, he was saying that there was no inflation. Yeah, and that the Federal Reserve should put the rates to negative, underneath zero, and they should be printing money because there's no inflation. And the Fed at the time were looking for an inflationary scenario, which they were failing to get for 10 years. And so the president came out trying to help the Federal Reserve get that inflationary scenario. Trump was warming people up to the idea of inflation. And then COVID happened after it kind of failed. And then what do you see now? What is Trump saying now? The rates are higher, and Trump is saying that the Federal Reserve shouldn't lower the rates. He completely switched up on what he used to say when he was president, because he knows that if the Federal Reserve lowers the rates and they get those rate cuts, one, it could be political. One, people could see lowering the rates as a good thing and Biden having good policies, but that's not it. It's just a narrative. It's their monetary policy. Basically, they're just fucking with everybody. The more, we've seen the treasury yield. If you look at the treasury yield, just because everybody believes so hard we're going to get rate cuts in September, which we aren't, but everybody believes it so much that the yields have already dropped so much. Look, do you see that? Everyone's anticipating rate cuts. In January, they were anticipating a rate cut. In October, everyone was talking about rate cuts in January, and the yields fell. Same thing back in last October. Same thing in April. Everyone was talking about how many rate cuts we'd get this year. And the yields fell. And this is, even though the actual Fed fund rates hasn't moved at all. It stayed at 5.5. The yields are trading up and down. The mortgage rates, I don't know if I have them here. The mortgage yields have, this isn't it, but they, maybe not the 30-year, but they fell to a new 52-week low, a new yearly low. So the mortgage interest rates are like at 6.24 is what I heard. Not this one, but another one. They haven't been this low since April 2024. So I don't know when that was, but no, April 2023, sorry. So over here, when they were at 6.3, there's some of the rates that fell to 6.24. I don't know if it's a 30 year, I don't know which one, but everything that you'd expect with a rate cut has already happened. And so that's the Federal Reserve's monetary policy. And I think that the president, he only fits into that. He will only help the Federal Reserve achieve their narrative by saying things that are controversial, or the way they say things, I think Trump is starting to warm people up to the idea that the Federal Reserve shouldn't lower rates. They should keep rates higher and charge other country, higher rates, to eventually transition to that point where now the Federal Reserve lowers the rates. Because it's markets. Whenever it's the same thing as markets. When everybody thinks the rates are going to go up, they're going to go down. When everybody thinks the rates can go down, they're going to go up. Because you see, that's what people. That's the monetary policy. People buying money. If no one believes the rates are going to go down, people won't spend money and they won't make business decisions like they're doing right now, with the belief that rates are coming down, and so the monetary policy won't work. And so the Federal Reserve needs to keep talking about potential rate cuts, so that people keep believing there will be rate cuts. But they have never said once that they're absolutely going to cut, and they won't, because they won't cut. So I don't think a president has any effect on monetary policy. In monetary policy, the only people that have effect is the market. What do people think? And that expectation is the monetary policy. And if you look at that, that's how you'll know how the rates will perform. But right now, what I see with people is that they keep thinking the rates will come down. And so I don't see the rates coming down any moment. Unless we have a crisis where the yield curve inverts and everybody starts losing homes. If you go back to the economy thing, right? The interest rates are high at 5. No, this isn't it. Are high at 5.5%. They used to be a lot higher, right? If you remember this era in the 80s, the Federal Reserve was battling stagflation. Now they aren't this high. However, we also have 3 times the deficit. And since 2011, I believe the deficits grew. I don't know if I can see that, but they grew a lot. Like they're 3 times bigger than what they were in the 80s. And so these high interest rates have much more of an impact. No, this isn't it. They have much more of an impact than if they were than 20% had. Well, it's like the same impact basically. It's the same as if you apply if you adjust for the deficit, it's basically like if they were at 20%. So we're seeing this right now, like Paul Volcker, James Powell's like Paul Volcker. He's putting these rates super high. Everyone wants them to come down. Eventually, people are going to start protesting that they come down. People are going to say that it's not normal that they're this high. And people are going to start to lose homes. And when the economy is in a lot of pain, and they're suffering, like really suffering, then they're going to say, okay, we're going to bring down the rates. Until then, they're going to keep the rates high. And all of that was talked about in 2002. Again in 2018. And then again in 2020 after COVID. And I have the speeches of the Federal Reserve members to back that. So I can go in and read these speeches and show you exactly how. And it sounds crazy the way they're running their monetary policy, but that's exactly how it is. And it's super hard to understand and complicated to understand, but it's not what everybody's making it out to be. Also, Jaser, I love your profile picture. It looks like my setup actually. Except my desk isn't in the corner. My desk is like a long desk. Against the wall. Like, there's nothing in here that I liked, my model's not there. That's one. Maybe not yet. But obviously I talked about how it would go lower. But I never said, I'm not confident. I never said I'm confident when it would go lower. And it's obviously poor. I mean, I don't see a good breaker in here. Same thing with these other ones. It's just kind of like going lower for the sake of drawing liquidity, but there's no real reason as to something obvious that would get me into a trade. You switch your chart colors to black. Oh, you mean you have everything black? I've seen some people do that. Like they have everything black. I don't understand how anyone can trade like that. Sometimes I put it white and black. Neko, hate's a strong word. But yeah, I also I hate the Fed too. It's they're useless. They're only there to distort markets. But it's also, I believe, biblical. So there's nothing we can do about it. Jason, I think you're talking about Justin Ireland. Let's see how his charts look like. There's something about Justin Ireland that I don't know. Like, I look at his channel and it's just, he's turning day 5, turning 5,000 to 25,000. It's just not, he resembles a content creator. But I've seen him go on live and I don't know if he trades real money or not, but I know I've seen him be able to trade pretty well.
How hard was it for you to get the mic early on?
Yeah, okay, I see what you're talking about. The black background, black and white, black background. This is which one is it? This one is the shit. This is probably the best chart. This is what I used to first trade when I would trade with FOMC on, what is it, MetaTrader. This is how the charts would look like. But at night, this is super, terrible. It's terrible to trade this at night. This one I also traded quite a little bit. Take any good trades today, Jason? Or Echo? know a guy who has his candles purple and orange. Disgusting. I know what you're talking about. You're either talking about Adanomics or ODICT. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I don't like his charts, but you know, the Adanomics guy, still pretty good for a trader, from what I've seen at least. I don't know. I heard he's also 16. I don't know. I honestly don't know. He doesn't put out enough content for me to form any opinion on him. Not that I'm trying to form an opinion anyway. Purple and orange is outrageous. What? Who has that? Oh my goodness. This is fucked. This is a Halloween chart. Every time I switch color, I just want to always switch back to this. But I just leave it at this. Like, I've spent so many hours just looking at this chart from watching ICT's videos that I don't want to look at anything else but this, you know, for colors. This isn't bad. There you go. You know, the S&P looks a little bit better than the NASDAQ this morning. It's just like the NASDAQ seems super just consolidated. No, a friend of mine can't believe other people have it too. Orange where the down close candles and the purple the up close. Jesus. Oh. Yeah, you said purple and orange. I read just orange at first. Because I know a guy that has orange and gray. And it's like, I don't know. Than black and green or black and white. I got accepted at uni today, but not sure about going. Really? That's exciting though. What university, I might ask? Because I know you live in England, I'm pretty sure you said you live near Frankfurt. I know they have a really good schooling system. I think probably the best in the world. I'm actually going to university in school in I don't know where in England, but they're an online school. But they're based out in the UK. No, wait, Frankfurt is Germany, isn't it? Oh, where's Frankfurt? Oh, wait, no, Frankfurt is Germany. Didn't you tell me like in Germany they pay for your schooling basically? Like that's insane. Yeah, I can study for free in Germany. Wow. Wow. There's necessarily jobs. I mean, what would be your alternative if you don't go? Because it's nice to focus on trading, but either at one point you're going to have to go back to university, or you're going to have to get some other career. I don't know if you can only do trading. Because ICT said something very interesting, right? In his Twitter, not Twitter Space. It sounds like a Twitter Space, but in his stream yesterday, about some of the students that make 20K. He said even they keep their jobs. Yeah. If you go to 10:32, that's 10:32 in the morning. So not like 10:32 in the video, but he says ICT has students that make 20K a month with one contract and still keep their jobs. They could do a lot more because they're only using one contract and they only trade once a day or even once a week. But they don't feel the need to change anything. It's maturity and it's reality. So they keep their jobs even though they're making 20K a month. Because I mean, trading isn't just about making money and being able to provide. It's not really what you're going to do for the rest of your life, right? I think eventually, like ICT moved away from it to teach or to spend time with his family, you're gonna want to do the same thing. And having a hobby or having an education would help you sort of kind of move away from that and being able to focus on other things in life than just making money in the charts. I think that's very important, having something else to focus on. So if you don't, you're just gonna get frustrated because what you want isn't working as fast as you wanted it to, and maybe one day you might end up like ICT did, and sort of not feel content with this life. Because and this is something I didn't think about too, but once trading actually works, how will I feel like? Where will I be? And it's oftentimes, I guess, we're gonna think that we're gonna be the happiest people in the world when trading works, but it's not the case. You need to feel content with something else in your life that will lead you to true happiness, whether it's a family or a hobby. Something needs to be there to basically be who you are. I don't think it can just be trading. I'd probably work a small job while focusing on trading, making a break a semester or two. Uni will always be there. That's a perfect idea. I took 3 years off of university. I could have went to university when I was 18. I was accepted at a really good university, Carleton University. They're top 10 in Canada. But I didn't go. Well, I did go for not even a semester when I realized I wanted to trade. And now I'm looking to go back because I don't need to put in as much time into trading, and I'm focusing on bigger things in life. Well, not bigger things. Nothing will be bigger than trading, but I'm focusing on building, who I am in my life. And trade, this is really ugly price action. 930 opened up here, and we haven't really moved at all anywhere. And like I said, I wouldn't be comfortable going long or short in these markets at all. Simply, I don't know what will happen. It's okay to say that. Oh wow. Bitcoin is dipped underneath 50K. Oh, you guys might have heard my Khan Academy. 1 second, even close to being as good as you in trading. No, don't say that, man. Come on. In trading, I definitely would also find something else to do as well. Rather, the government sold all their Bitcoin at discount. Idiots. Did the government ever have, or I mean, is government or Wall Street? I don't think the government owns any Bitcoin, do they? What? I didn't even know that the government could do that. And this is right when Trump said that he would make the United States a safe haven for Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin crashed. Wow. Some people believe on a Forbes article that the government owns more Bitcoin. What does it say? Than any other country. So why aren't they selling it? $200,000 Bitcoin. There's a fact check here. Hold on. They hold more than 1% of the circulating supply. Apparently, is what a Reddit post said, with 2,000 upvotes. Oh, okay. This is supposedly because the government actually seized a lot of Bitcoin from bad firms like FTX. Like they seized 3.3 billion cryptocurrency from Jane Song, a fraudster who was unlawfully obtained over 50,000 Bitcoin from the Silk Road dark web marketplace. There's a 32-year-old that lives in Georgia. How the fuck? Oh my god. This guy became a billionaire by just taking people's Bitcoin. Yeah. The German government sold all their Bitcoin at discount. Okay. But I know the US government was recently talking about Bitcoin, which is not US government, but Trump, which is, when he said that he would make the United States the powerhouse of Bitcoin, the price crashed. So I don't know what's going on there, but obviously some market manipulation. Well, it sounds like it. You guys have free schooling. I don't understand how that even works. Like, free university. International students can go study for free. That's really cool, actually. Now this is a obvious move up with a bullish for value gap in the 5-minute chart. On a day like this is something I would anticipate to fail. Like, I'd want this to completely fail. I would want it to fail to make that new high and then to turn, but I would want it to also be quick to fail. But it's not really showing me that. The thing is, they sold it a few days before it shot up. They missed out on millions of euros. Damn. Let me see the German Central Bank balance sheet. No, probably won't show me. The Deutsche Bundesbank. I can't find the balance sheet. Oh, I guess no. Germany doesn't have a central bank. It's the European Central Bank. I guess that kind of takes care of it. This is like there's no gap here on the 1 minute chart. Like everything's completely balanced. So like I wouldn't really be looking for price trade back in here, but obviously is. So I don't know, it's like not too obvious. We're not getting that quick price action lower. Maybe now we are. What the heck? Why? This is so weird. Why is gold so sporadic? Well, it's 11 o'clock. I'll probably log off soon. I'm starting to think about logging off because I'm waiting to see if we're gonna get a nice down move to this drawdown here. But all morning it's just been obviously moving sideways. There's no news. I've already moved so much overnight, so it's been better to look for afternoon trades. But I have a haircut appointment in an hour, so I won't be able to, well, I don't know if I'll be able to trade the afternoon, or I don't know if I want to look for a trade in the afternoon, but it's possible I might try and look for a trade in the afternoon, because if we leave that sell side liquidity open there and I see something in the afternoon that can give us a good move lower into that, then I would like to take it. But if not, then, or it's still uncertain, then I will not do anything. But if the morning, obviously consolidated, that means we can allow the afternoon to expand. It's left liquidity high and low, and so we can look for one of those ends or both to get hit. What's the easy B? What is that? I might be hella delayed. I think I'm at least 30-second delay. There you go. That's more like it. My god. This thing won't go down. Oh, you mean the ECB? European Central Bank. Yeah, I think it's a super fucked system. Because the thing with the European Central Bank is they have so many different countries bundled together, and if the European Central Bank runs into trouble, like all of Europe is into trouble, and that's a large part of the global marketplace. And if you look like how many trillions of dollars that Europe is in debt to other countries in US dollars, it's a large part. And so if we try and move away from US dollars, Europe alone is going to cause so many problems because of this system that they have with European Central Bank. Alright, so I'm probably gonna get off. Obviously, what I want to see is not happening, and price is super slow as expected. And so it was a nice stream. Thank you for everyone that hopped in, checked it out, and chatted. And I hope that you guys had a good morning and you have a good rest of your day. That's it.